Alright, welcome to your triangle proof video. In this video, we are going to take a look at how to actually write the proofs. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to write the proof. In class already, we've discussed how to find the triangles to be congruent through different ways, angle, side, etc. Here I'm going to show you how to actually write it. This is a proof that we did in class. We actually found this proof using this given information right here. Our bisectors, if you remember, had given us those sides and those sides. That was as a result of those bisectors. We also had vertical angles because of the intersecting lines. This proof was a side angle side proof. Now we have to go ahead and write it out. So first we're going to start with a 2-column style. So you see here 2-column proof. This is the proof that we are going to use mostly in class. This is the style that I prefer. This is the style that most students prefer. But I'm going to show you all 3, and you guys will get to decide. So first we're going to set up our 2 columns. On the left side we are going to make our statements, and on the right side we are going to provide our reasons. Alright, and this is kind of like, if you want to think about it, this is kind of like the because. If you were going to do like a bullet point, this is like the closest thing to a bullet point proof. Okay, so we're going to start off every statement of reason or 2-column proof with any given information. So all of this little chunk of information right here, we're going to slap right in the first step. So our first step is always going to tell us what has been given to us. So I'm literally just going to write the given information here. So we have lines A, B, and C, D. We have that CD bisects AB, and we have that AB bisects CD. That's going to be my first statement. The reason for that is simply that it's being given to us. So there's really nothing to do with that first step, but just get down everything that's being given. I'm going to draw a line here just to organize this a little nicely. So now we're going to move on to our second step. This is where we actually have to get our statements, our sides and angles down onto the chart. So we're going to write what we have marked already. First, I'll start with the angle in the middle. I'll say that I'll make a statement that says angle CEA is congruent to angle DEB, and I'll provide the reason, and those angles are equal because they're vertical angles, and we know that vertical angles are congruent. I'll separate that step. Once I'm done with that step, I've got those 2 angles. I'm going to put a little check here on that A. That means I've written it, it's done, I can move on. The next thing are those sides. Now both those sides, or sets of sides, are because of the bisector right here. So I can actually include them in the same step. So I'm going to say that CE is congruent to ED, and I can also say that AE is congruent to EB. The reason why those are all congruent, we already know, is because of the bisector. So we'll jot down that definition of a bisector that says a bisector divides a line, and this is directly from the packet we filled out, into 2 equal parts. That takes care of both my sides right there. Once all that is checked off, my proof is done. We always end our proof with our proof statement. So the 4th step in this proof is going to state that triangle ACE is congruent to triangle BDE. The reason why is right here. We got 2 sides and the angle in between congruent, so we call that side angle side. This is a statement of reason proof. A few things to notice. First, notice how it starts and ends. It always starts with given information and ends with the prove statement, or what we're trying to prove. Second, notice the in-between steps. These are our sides and angles. This is where we actually have to write down what sides, what angles we're getting, and why they're congruent over here. Again, this is our most popular style. This is what we're going to use mostly in class, but now I'm going to show you other types in case you like them better. Alright, so now I'm going to show you a flowchart proof. It's definitely a little different. Some kids like them, some kids don't. But at least give you a chance to see it, and you guys can make the decision for yourself. It's the same proof, so it's going to be the same thing. So we don't have to go through the whole thing again. We already know that it's going to be a side angle side proof. We know we got our vertical angles. So now we go ahead with our flowchart. Flowchart is going to be with boxes and arrows. Okay, so I'll show you. Again, we always start with our given information. So we're going to separate our given information into two boxes here. The first box is the lines. We're going to have AEB and CED. And we're going to put that in a box. And underneath that box, we're going to provide the reason for why it's true, because it's given. In another box, we're going to have CD bisects AB and AB bisects CD. Okay? Every statement is boxed with the reason beneath it. Okay? Again, you could already see it's very, very different organization-wise. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use arrows to draw conclusions from these boxes. So for example, on the left here we have intersecting lines. That is giving us the vertical angles. So we have CEA congruent to angle DEB. That's a statement. It gets boxed. And we provide our reason. Vertical angles are congruent. On the right side we have this bisector. So what do we get from the bisector? Well, we are getting the fact that CE is congruent to ED and that AE is congruent to EB. Again, our statements get boxed. Reason, because a bisector divides a line into two congruent parts. These, if I can put it like this, gave us our angle over here. This is giving us two sides over here. So again, our sides and our angle have been written. These three, or these two boxes, sorry, all lead us to say that the triangle ACE is congruent to triangle BDE. We box our statement. We provide our reason, side angle side. So a couple things to notice. One, you can see all the statements and the reasons are exactly the same from the two-column proof. It's just organized differently. The other thing is the arrows. Notice how this statement came from this given information. So the arrows really just help you understand what's coming from what and how it all leads to the congruent triangles. So again, just a different way to organize it. Next up, I'm going to show you how to organize a proof in a paragraph style. Alright, last we have a paragraph proof. Again, you see the same proof. I've already provided the paragraph for you, or written out. And I want you to take a quick read. We'll just go through it really quickly. It's really set up the same way. It's just written out instead of in a flowchart or in a bullet point. If you first look in the first sentence here, we're just letting everybody know what's being given. In our next statement, okay, you can see that we've got our vertical angles. Okay, so in this statement, we have that the angles are congruent, and then we have the because there, and we have the vertical angle. So again, you can see like we're still using the same statement and the reason. We're just organizing it into a sentence. You can see here that we have our sides right here, CED and CE and ED, AE and EB, and then the because right there. A bisector divides a line into two equal parts. And then finally, you can see we have our proof statement where we say that the triangles are congruent because of side angle side. So there you have 3 different ways to perform a triangle proof. Next class we are going to go through a bunch to practice. You get to choose what style you're going to do. I'm going to stick to my 2-column proof. We'll see where you go. All right, and that's it.
All right, Rock, you're going to make sure everybody does their homework. So say, do your homework or else. Or else. What are you going to do to them? All right, good boy.